Thunderer. Kadai 1990, thank you for the sub. Year of design 1949. This ship was designed as a battleship with increased firepower on the basis of the British experience in ship construction gained during World War II. The project was notable for the 457mm main guns, which were developed in the early 1920s and were the most powerful British naval artillery systems. No, they weren't. Conqueror 490mm guns are clearly better, as evidenced by the experience in World War ships. Alright, wasn't it designed in 2019 by Little White Mouse? Is it a copy pasta of Conqueror's design? I don't know, is it? This ship was... oh god, it's actually a copy pasta. Oh no. I thought you were joking, but it's... okay, moving on. Moving on, we didn't see that. We didn't notice that at all. Moving on, what do we actually have on this ship? Moving on. What do we have? Standard damage count by the looks of it. Is this super heal? 487 per second, 10. This isn't super heal, is this? This looks like normal heal. This is normal heal. This is not super heal at all. Okay. Defensive AA though. See, maybe this was the plan of Wargaming. They make defensive AA useless, and then they make the CV rework, they make the carriers broken, and then they start selling premiums with defensive AA. Ah, I can see that. Ooh, a whole 100%. Ooh, big. Let's see, what are the important buffs? Well, first let's look at the AA actually. Okay, 4 flak, 75% accurate. Okay, this is basically useless. This might as well not exist, because you're not gonna hit any of this. Mid-range? Mid-range is pretty spicy, however. It's a 2-kilometer action zone, 14 flak explosions, 815 continuous damage. This is pretty good AA. This is pretty decent AA. Short range is... whoa, it's really bad. So if someone slingshots within close range, you have tier 5 AA if someone slingshots close. So, yikes. So literally, this only has one threat zone, and that's this 2-kilometer radius. If the planes are anywhere outside of this, well, then you're doing nothing. Fair enough. Okay, what else do we have? What's our handling? Great turning circle, as usual for Conquer. Rudder shift, very good as well. So you can easily get away with slapping damage control system mod 2 on this without like any real downsides, because you handle so well. Concealment, let's see what kind of stealth we can get on this thing. And I guess, what is our guns like? 4.57s, 30-second reload, 36-second turret reverse. That's very good for guns this big. Very, very good for guns this big. 63% HE fire chance, juicy. AP HE shell velocity is very slow though, so this is what? Warspite tier 10 kind of speeds we're watching here? It sure looks like it. Those shells look incredibly slow.
You're not known to be a humble man, but I
Well,
wonder...
what is...
I think I am actually humble. I think I'm much more humble than you would understand.
Yeah, that... 492.
Keep up the awesome work.
Thank you, Znazel, for the 4 months. Yeah, okay, no, it's 762-757. 762-757. So it's literally identical to Conquer. Copy pasta, in fact. Copy pasta shell velocity compared to Conquer 457. And with the reload mod, we can of course get this down to...
You're not known to be a humble man, but I wonder...
26.4, not counting in AR. Admiral Teddy Bear, thank you for the 5. Snazzle, thank you for the 4, my dude.
The streets will flow with the blood of carriers.
Truly. Truly. What kind of premium camo do we have? Oh. Okay, I kind of like this one. It's very simple, but somehow it looks really good. I actually kind of like this one. Kind of simple, a simple scheme, but it fits the look. I like it. I actually like it quite a bit. Anyway, let's just slap on a default camo for the concealment. Right. So what do we have concealment now? 13.7. So you can once again reach pretty good values here. Let's see. Yes. We need turret traverses because with the module, with the legendary module, or sorry, the reload module, it's 41.4. We can cut it down to. That rudder shift is actually fantastic. Yes, I know. That's what I said. It's really, really good. It's this rudder shift is like all Conqueror with legendary mod. That's how good this rudder shift is. It's really, really good. We probably go superintendent. Okay, let's see. What kind of concealment do we have? 12.3. Very, very good. Problem is, of course, carriers are gonna make your life a mess. I assume fire prevention. AR. Last 3 points. Maybe Jack of all trade. Or something like basics and Jack, or actually no, a Jack, probably Jack and expert loader, considering your HE is so super strong, and the AP will probably be quite good. So probably go these two as the last. Alright! But that doesn't really matter.
Thunderer looks mostly balanced so far. Will you do a few games in this and a standard 457mm armed conker to see if one does better than the other overall?
Your Uncle Hitler, I'm glad you're very interested in British battleship design. But Uncle, I can't play these yet, so sadly I can only tease them. So we'll have to return to that later, buddy.
I think I am actually humble. I think I'm much
Eagle
more
Army,
humble than
thank you for the 5 months. Once they come out, I will probably do those tests. Let's see, what kind of...
Keep it up.
I will. Let's see, what kind of armor? 32, 32, 32, 32. This looks like standard... This is literally copy-paste the Conqueror, isn't it? How's the Citadel? Oh, this is a higher than normal. This is a lot higher than normal. This is almost reworked Conqueror Citadel. This thing can absolutely be Citadel broadside. Like, this is the old Conqueror Citadel. This thing back here. This thing? This is new. That's literally the testing Conqueror Citadel that we're looking at. So this ship can actually be punished full broadside. Which is interesting considering it doesn't have a super heal either. So, unless it has significantly better dispersion, or they're banking on the rudder shift time making it so maneuverable, this seems like a pretty significant downgrade from the actual Conqueror. Same hit points, same everything. So it's, I'm hoping that maximum dispersion 301, like, these shields are very slow as well. So, first impression is that this is a downgraded Conqueror, but we don't know what the Sigma values are and how they will tweak the guns. But if they make the guns very accurate, then it might be a fun ship. Because if it's anything like the Warspite at tier 6, then it's fun. Because Warspite at tier 6 was one of my favorite ships for a long time. Accurate guns, but vulnerable ship, made for a fun experience. So far this ship seems very vulnerable. We'll see what they make of the guns. So far though, it seems like you're trading a whole lot of survivability, healing, well, just survivability and gunpowder. You're trading a lot of things for a bit of rudder shift and a consumable that has been practically proven worthless in the rework. That's not a very good trade. But once again, these are still very early, work is in progress, so this might change. Not that impressed, but the concept might work.
Known to be a humble man.
Jays, thank you for the
I
5.
think I am actually humble. I think I'm
Secondary
much
range.
more humble than you would understand.
6. And honestly, you don't have enough of them to be worth discussing any sort of secondary build. Right, moving on, we move on to the Hayate. Didi, thank you for the 2. Hayate, year of design, 1945. Now you guys can't really read it actually over there. Let's do... What can we do? Display order... By type? No, sorry. Actually by tier. And by tier. There. Up. Can you read it now? Okay, now you can kind of read it. A destroyer design that was equipped with perfectly dual-purpose 127mm Type 1/5 guns designed for the needs of the Japanese Navy during World War II. Hayate. Okay. Those turrets look like someone stepped on them. That's my first impressions. It literally looked like someone just stood right on it. But other than that, this thing looks pretty mean. This camo especially looks mean. It's pretty thick though, so I assume this one will have AP arm on it, like Z52 AP and other AP will easily arm on it. Depth charges in the back. Are they teasing something here? There's the depth charge launchers. Are they teasing something back there? Let's see. Let's see, what are we looking at here stats wise? Survivability 20.8. That's pretty healthy. 3x2. 10-second turret reverse, 4-second reload. But we got the HE alpha of Shimakaze guns. This is terrifying. This is actually really terrifying. We're talking 3 to 4k HE volleys every 4 seconds without counting in the build. So this one can do a lot of firepower, especially because it's got that IGN shell velocity, which is 915, which is a lot easier to land than USDDs. So this thing is gonna hit like a truck, and this is not a ship you probably want to fight based on this. This is gonna be scary gunpowder, straight up scary gunpowder for another DD. Torpedoes are superbly long cooldown. Holy moly, 153 seconds base. So that's obviously any sort of turret or torpedo gameplay kind of thrown out the window. Even with a full build, you can probably only cut that down to like 2 minutes or so. Dave, thank you for the 2 months. It looks like standard IGN 12km Type 3 torps. 24k, yes, same spotting, same speed, same everything. So these are the standard 12km Shima torps, or Zao torps, basically. AA defense. Let's see, what do we have? Short range, useless. Mid range, 100% accuracy, but only 3 flak explosions. Continuous damage, very underwhelming. Long range, once again, kind of underwhelming amount. The 100% accuracy and the damage means that if you do slot the AA module, you can at least get some form of AA out of this thing, but the same reload for Shima 12 cam. Yeah, but Shima has 15. Shima has 15, this has 10. Alright! You can play it as torpedo, but obviously this is very much
well, that's a shame then, really. I thought Thunderer was out of NDA testing by now.
Nope.
How about a few game in the normal Conquer using the 457mm S so we can get a rough look at how Thunderer might play?
Are you sure you want that, Uncle? I don't think you want that, Uncle. Alright. Still, this AA isn't gonna win any prizes. This is very underwhelming AA. Not gonna win any prizes. 37 knots. That's not really that fast for an IGN DD. Turning circle, very sluggish. Very sluggish for a destroyer. That's incredibly sluggish for a destroyer, in fact. And the rudder shift is okayish, but oof. Let's see, where would we go here? We would probably go... Let's see, what consumables can we get? Standard smoke, standard damage con. We get speed boost, it's only 8%. Not really that special. Flag-wise, speed flag bumps us to what, 38.9. With speed boost we'll be breaking 40, 41. Kind of questionable. Not really. I mean, it's pretty okay. Considering it's a gunboat, it's actually quite fast. You gotta keep that in mind. Will be a gunboat. Module-wise, oh yeah, we need to go. I'm not sure if I want to go acceleration or steering gears. Probably acceleration, since you're gonna be parking in smokes and gunboating a lot. And then you would probably want to go concealment. Guns or torpedoes. These guns seem so very strong that most likely you would go for a gun build. Either one might work. It might be a bit like Z52 that you can kind of build either one if you should so choose. Someone tells me that the base DPM of Hayate is 193,500. 193,500 is the base DPM. Let's take a look at what's 190. That's the HE. Is that the HE DPM, Lollywolf? Is that the HE DPM? Can you replace smoke with torpedo reload? Oh, you can. Oh, that's pretty interesting. That's 20 torps in the water. That's 20 torps in the water. Interesting. Wait, so the HE DPM of the Hayate is 193,000. 193,000. Let's take a look. What do the other DDs have? Wait, does desktop capture work? There we go. Main HE DPM, HE DPM. Kleber, 137, 135. 240 on Harogom, Yuyang. This is Kaba. This is Grossovoy. This is Daring. Gearing. So we're getting to almost gearing levels of HE DPM with far better ballistics. With far better ballistics. That is kind of scary considering the torpedo power it also has. That thing might be quite good. Well, we'll see what the concealment says. It still handles very clumsily. Oh well. Let's see what the concealment is. Concealment so far is 6.8. Oof. 3.4 air. Oof. Okay, let's build this thing a bit. Let's see what we can build this thing for. We'll go standard base build. This. What else would you build on this? I mean, Dhaka. This would probably be a base build. RPF, AR. This might be a viable build unless you go with torpedoes. Let's see, what do we have in here? 6.1. Even more concerning is the 3.1 air as well. Neither of these values are that good. On the other hand, you are very fast. And with this full build, you got 3.2 second main battery reload. I mean, this is scary though. This is Shimakaze Alpha on a 3.2 second reload. This is a lot of damage. This is a lot of damage. This is a lot of scary damage. And with the torpedo reload module on this thing, I don't know. This is of course highly risky though. Going torpedo reload on this ship is... I mean, you're basically banking on not getting a carrier in your match. Because if you run this and you run into a carrier, your game is going to be awful. Still, this ship seems interesting. I think it has potential. It's got obvious weaknesses, but it's also got a lot of scary firepower. IGN Khabarovsk, kinda. Very fast turret traverse and a lot of firepower on it. The guns are in the back as well, so kiting away, this is going to be a nightmare to fight. Interesting. It could be a good IGN premium, absolutely. What was that? Someone linked me something. What did you link, Arena? Oh, a spreadsheet? Oh boy. Are we getting new memes? Are we getting new CV rework memes? Is that what you're giving me? Okay, let's see. What do we have here, boys? Oh man, that's painful, buddy. That's painful to watch. Jesus, that is painful to watch. All right, where were we? That was the Hayate though. I actually kind of like the view of the Hayate. I actually like the potential. Next we have Siegfried, Kriegsmarine. Oh, this thing looks mean. Why do all German ships look so god? Especially the battleships. Why do they look so good? Oh my! All the camos and everything. They look so damn good. Oh man! Oh, look at that! Look at that eagle in the back. German design. Gotta love it, man. Gotta love it. German visual bias. Then let's look at the actual ship instead. Let's look at the actual ship. Actually, one thing I forgot on the Hayate. Is there anything special about the armor? I should always double check that. Is there anything special? Nope, 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 nope. Everything is 19. Okay, absolutely nothing special. Need to double check these things. Whoops, wrong ship. There we go. So what do we have? Hit points 62.8. That is pretty. That's pretty good. Quite tanky. Torpedo protection 37 for a cruiser. This is insane. 37% torpedo protection for a cruiser type is absolutely nuts. That's like better than many battleships. I think Iowa has something like 27, 24. So, to put it in perspective, 37 is a lot of torpedo reduction. Main battery. Well, that's a oof. That's a big oof. Now it's supposed to have really good dispersion, which we can see 175. We're still talking about 6 guns. It's a battle cruiser. I know it's a battle cruiser, but as long as Wargaming doesn't separate them by matchmaking or classification, it's going to be a cruiser. So that's what we're going to compare it to. Don't blame me, blame the developer. Let's see. 26-second reload though on 6 guns is oof, but apparently the Sigma is supposed to be 2.05 and the dispersion is supposed to be very good. 6 guns is questionable though. 26-second reload also means that we're talking, well, Gneisenau firepower, with better dispersion, of course. 36-second turret traverse on a cruiser. Yeah, you're probably going to want expert marksman, especially since you don't run the gun reload, which will nerf it to over 40 seconds. Secondaries, 7x2, 5... Okay, these are not worth discussing at all. Shell velocity is German, aka quite good. Torpedoes, 8 km. Instead of the standard 6 kilometers, these are 8 km. I cannot wait to be team killed from 7 kilometers instead of being team killed from 5 kilometers now. So that's a fantastic new experience. Where are the torps actually located? They are quite central. They're not in the back of the ship. Some ships suffer heavily from having the torpedoes back here. I think is that the key or something has the torps really far back. So by the time you can actually torp someone you're brawling, they can already shoot your broadside. Whereas in German battleships, because the torps are in the center, you can torp much earlier. So that's actually a good thing. They're quite fast. You got 4 of them. They hit with a decent amount of damage. So they should be quite good. AA. What does AA say? The torp angles are pretty poor, unfortunately. Oh, okay. Let's see. The short range, 343. Okay-ish. Mid-range. Ooh, that's pretty good. 1.5 to 4. That's a long mid-range. Good hit probability, good amount of flank, pretty okay-ish DPS. What kind do we have defensive AA on this thing? Let's see.
You're not known to be a humble man.
Standard damage con.
I think I am
Actually,
humble.
cruiser
I think I'm
damage con.
much more
We can
humble
slot
than
the
you would understand.
100% defensive, or we can slot German Hydro. Shiroze, thank you for the 5. Either one will probably be quite useful. And then we can slot Spotter or Fighter, and what looks like a pretty standard heal. How many do you get? 4 plus Superintendent 5 heals, so yeah, should be decent sustain. Let's put some modules on. Main battery mod. I'll go default concealment. This is something this is just the stock standard what you usually run. It's not by any means guaranteed. But what's the long range AA? Okay, long range is pretty underwhelming. Only 5 flak. I mean, normally, because on a cruiser normally you always run the AA module. But considering this has such large guns with such a long reload, you might instead run dispersion. That's something that needs to be tested to make up your mind which one you would want to run. Let's see. 33.5. Oh boy. 880 meter turning circle is quite dreadful. Rudder shift is pretty damn poor as well. Obviously that means then you, on this ship with a 14-second rudder shift on a cruiser type, I would obviously run the steering gears because 14 seconds is bad. But the speed is quite nice. An actual German ship that's fast, that's a nice experience. 35.2. Let's slap the module, our dispersion module. Our dispersion at long range is now 163 meters. That could be quite spicy. So 11.2, somewhat manageable. Concealment, 13.2 with concealment module. Let's put a quick build on it. I assume this is the kind of ship you absolutely build manual AA on. Considering the good AA values and the possibility of defensive AA. Okay, what do we get Turret Traverse to with this? Turret Traverse is now 35.6, that's okay-ish. 11.9 concealment. So that's what, Kronstadt level of concealment? Something like that. Now the big question though. The big question. This ship is big. It doesn't handle very well. What is the armor like? 27. So you can bounce 380, but 400 and 400 and above will all overmatch your nose, which means Montana, Gross Core Force, basically every single ship that isn't 380 will overmatch it. What is the deck armor like? 30. That's oof. That means Republic and above will overmatch it, and all HE will of course farm it. Upper belt is large though. That's close range angle. This is quite tanky though. 90 millimeters, the entire upper belt is pretty spicy. Now keep in mind though that this has some significant downsides. The downsides of having this much broadside armor is that anyone who shoots your broadside, normally when someone shoots a broadside on a cruiser, they get maybe a citadel or two and some overpens. Anyone shooting this thing is gonna get pens, full pens. There will be no overpenetrations. It will always be full pens. It will arm pretty much every type of shell out there, so the AP damage this thing will eat broadside is huge. The upside is of course that angled you can basically bounce every type of AP at close range as long as they shoot this. So it comes with a downside and an upside. Turrets are oof, not that wow, being shot in the side of this, like this is a lot of flat surface. I wonder how vulnerable these things will be. I feel like they can get knocked out quite easily. Oh, is this a potential weakness? Questionable. Most likely the torpedoes will eat the shell that comes here. The torpedo will eat the shell, so it won't actually do too much. It has... Now, I've been warned about... I was warned preemptively about this turtleback. Well, first of all, the Citadel rises above the water a fair bit. Now, it has a turtleback, but I was actually warned preemptively about this turtleback that it's actually angled so steeply that it doesn't really work. It's more like a French turtleback than a German one, meaning it doesn't render you completely immune to citadels, but you can still get citadeled with this thing. So, my first reaction would be, oh my god, turtleback on a battle cruiser, this thing is going to be super tanky broadside. But it's not. You can still get citadel because the angles are... it's more of a spaced armor than anything. So, they want us to like brawl in this thing. That's what they implied. But I mean, if even a Kremlin has issues pushing into brawl in random battles because of all the focus fire. I don't really see how Siegfried with 30, 27 and this is gonna do any better.
Hey dude, here is to 7 months more and congrats of the 70k subs.
One hung low 84. Thank you for the tier 2 7 months and I appreciate the congratulations. Flamu, yes, its angle is about 50 degrees, so only some shells will bounce on it, and with the angle will fall off, it will just be a lot of resistance. And Siegfried AP DPM is 160k. That's not very high at all. That is not very high at all. How much armor are we talking though? That's the next thing we want to look at. We're talking 60, 45 on the broadside, 190, 80. I mean, it's gonna take a lot of pen, but I think people are gonna be in for some rude awakenings if they try to brawl a battleship in this thing, and a battleship shoots close range. I think it's gonna be a lot of punishment. Fried. Has Siegfried already been dubbed? Little Fried. Oh no. I mean, this is the kind of ship you have to play to make up your mind. The dispersion is something I like. Things I hate though are few guns, low DPM, potentially the handling, and the vulnerability to overmatch, and just punishment in general. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. It might work. It might be fine. It might be great. It's too early to tell, but kind of questionable. Kind of questionable with only 6 guns. It looks fantastic though. Regardless of everything else, it looks gorgeous. The ship looks absolutely gorgeous in my opinion. Like, this is some screenshot worthy silhouette right here. Now we move on to one of the more interesting ships, and that is the Friesland. The lead ship in a series of submarine hunters used by the Dutch Navy, hence the clearly Dutch flag in the background. I knew the Dutch were confused, it must be all that weed. But still, goddamn guys, sort yourself out. The lead ship in a series of submarine hunters used by the Dutch Navy. The ship carried various anti-submarine weapons as well as 120mm Bofors dual-purpose naval guns, one of the most effective piece of armament during the post-war period. 1956. Interesting. Well, this looks like a classic World War II destroyer, just like Grozova. Just like the other new ships we've seen recently. Holy shit, this looks modern. It looks cool though, but good lord, it looks modern. Is that like rocket launchers in the front? It looks good though. Don't get me wrong, it looks really, really good, but holy moly, it looks modern. Smoke launchers? They are ASW rockets, anti-submarine mortars. Smoke. Everyone is saying a different. Everyone is literally giving a different answer, so they're gonna be. Just gonna call them launchers. Hit points 17.6. That is not a lot of. Actually, let's look at consumables first. Let's look at the consumables first. Oh, let's see. Basic damage control. Oh, interesting. This thing gets a bit of everything, doesn't it? You get the smoke. This is like the American smoke. 30-second action time over 2-minute duration. This is a really strong smoke. Ars Moriendi, thank you for the sub. This is like an American smoke you're getting here. Okay. Defensive AA 200%. And Hydro, which is 5 kilometers. So this thing gets a lot of goodies, a lot of consumables. Quite low health though. Let's slap a basic build on it while we're doing it. With HP perk, we should just break 20k with this. Bleibe APG MXD, thank you for the sub. Okay, now we got 20.7 at least, 20.8. Main battery guns, 1.8 second reload. Oof. That's a fast reload. Shell velocity 825. Really fast turret traverse as well. Well, so obviously this is a ship you would like to build.
Obviously the environment down here is all salt. The ceiling's salt, the floor is salt, the walls are salt. And to an extent the air is salt.
25 months.
Daka?
Daka indeed. So this is a ship you would obviously want to build Daka then, just looking at those guns. It doesn't even have torpedoes to begin with, which is supposed to be the gimmick of the ship. It has no torpedoes whatsoever. 1.6 second reload. BFT. 1.4 second reload. Then we add in AR on top. Yikes. Main battery gun 12.3. Then we of course get to the interesting. This is supposed to be an AA ship. We got our 40mm ball force, and then we got our 120mm ball force, which gives us a mid-range AA of 8 flak with 1 kilometer to 3.5, 97% accuracy, 451 continuous. You gotta remember, it's get destroyer defensive AA on top of it. Mid-long range, 3.5 to 6 kilometer range on the AA, pretty good values again. Of course, on this thing, naturally you would slap... this thing. Now you gotta continue, you gotta remember that this gets the Destroyer Defensive AA module, which gives you not 100% additional, but 200%. Plus, it already has 50% sector reinforcement, then you add manual AA on top. This thing can get some really, really disgusting AA, I think. A really, really disgusting AA. One thing about the guns, what was the pen? 19. 19 is not enough with IFHE then. I think you can only pen the 25mm threshold. You can't pen the 27mm threshold. So if you slap this on, you go from 19 to 25. Yeah, it's not enough to reach 27. Fair enough. The AA damage, the AA potential this thing has is quite brutal though. Maneuverability, decent speed, good handling, good rudder shift. Concealment, 6 point. That's quite poor. The air detectability is god tier though. Holy shit! Like you can literally open up on plane. You can literally let a plane fly past you at 2.5, and that's when you pop AA and everything, and he's gonna be caught eating all your AA. So this thing is gonna be quite brutal against carriers. Thank you. That's fine. Let's hope that this makes carriers stop playing carriers. That would be my dream ship right there. Air detectability. This is with the full build, isn't it? Yeah, this is running. This is with the full build. So concealment is quite poor, really poor, honestly. So this thing is especially good against other planes, or against planes, but not that good against surface ships. Unless, well, wonder what the DPM here. Friesland HE base DPM is 233,000. 233,000. That's the base DPM. Holy shit, I take it back. This thing is actually gonna be brutal, isn't it? Good lord. Let's see, let's go back to our spreadsheet, boys. Let's go back to our spreadsheet. 233,000 base DPM puts it at above gearing, close to daring, close to Harugumo. Very close to Harugumo, in fact. I mean, obviously it lacks the pen and things like daring and these things, but when fighting other destroyers, you are literally going to run into Harugumo DPM fighting this thing. So this thing will melt destroyers. Very, very good against other DDs as long as you spot them. So, scary. Scary, scary damage. Scary, scary damage. Like, it's safe to say this is a good team play ship. I mean, this is the DD you're going to be playing with a carrier. Like, they complement each other so well. The carrier sails around spotting enemy destroyers, you melt them, and then you push into caps and smoke up, and if the carrier tries to harass you or anything, you can just shred the planes. So this thing will work extremely well in a division with a fellow carrier player. Like, extremely well. You get your concealment disadvantage gets nullified by your carrier teammate, and you can just shred the enemy planes. It's gonna be a CV division ship. Problem is there aren't tier 9 CVs. This thing will do just fine at tier 10. It's got enough DPM to face a Harugumo in a straight up fight. So if it can do that to one of the best Daka tier 10 DDs, it can fight any destroyer easily. And unlike the enemy DD, which will suffer from planes, you will shred planes. And if, God forbid, if someone does division anchoring with a tier 8 carrier, it's going to be the most disgusting thing you've ever seen. Like, tier 8 carrier against this AA. Yeah, that should be an interesting experience.